what's up everyone? Welcome to part 15 of my Logic Pro 11 Mixing Fundamentals course. Comping vocals, or really any kind of comping and detailed editing, isn't usually part of a mixing engineer's job. Typically, I expect that kind of work to be done in advance before I ever start mixing a song. That said, I do occasionally get projects where the artist asks me to handle the comping or some editing as part of the mix process. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use quick swipe comping to combine multiple vocal takes into a single composite take for the lead vocal. In a previous video, we combined our lead vocal tracks into 3 take folders, one for the first verse and chorus, one for the second verse, and it has 1 take of the chorus here, and then one for the sung portions of the bridge breakdown section, and there's 1 more repetition of the chorus here, as well as some vocals for the outro. And there's also some screamed tracks. Although there's only a few spots where he's actually doing screamed vocals, we're going to comp those as well. So the most wonderful thing about doing comping in Logic is its quick swipe comping feature. What quick swipe comping does is it allows you to, 1, select different takes. So you'll see our 4 takes down here, take 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then we see our composite take up at the top. That's actually what's being played through the track. But what we could do is we could drag over another section like here. And so now we're using take 4 here, using take 3 here, and maybe we want to use take 2 here, and maybe we want to use take 1 down here. So you can combine all of these takes together to create a composite take. One thing I want to just address here are the crossfades. So anytime you use quick swipe comping, Logic will automatically crossfade those edit points or those joining points. And if you want to customize that crossfade time, you absolutely can. Just go up to Logic Pro, Settings, Audio, and then go to Editing, and you'll see an option here for crossfades, for merge, and take comping. So here I've got the crossfade time set to 20 milliseconds, and you can also adjust the crossfade curve. So you can customize these things if you like. I also want to point out that there are 2 different modes that you can operate in here. If you see this icon at the top of the take folder, this means you're using quick swipe comp mode. But if you click on it, this will switch over to this scissors icon, which is denoting that you're just doing normal editing. So we'll use a combination of both of these features. But for now, let's go back to quick swipe comping. Okay, so one of the things you can do when you choose a selection with quick swipe comping is you can hover your mouse over those joining points or edit points, and you can swipe and you can move them around. So I can do things like this and just get back to my original take. And when you haven't selected any spots with quick swipe comping, you can just click on a take to select that whole take. So when I comp vocals, what I like to do is I like to set the cycle range around the vocals, and I set the cycle range somewhere just right before where the vocals come in. And then I just listen to the track with each take and determine which one I like best. Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. And I go through line by line, just like that. Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this. For the most part, I like that take better than take 4. Let's try out take 2. Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this. Okay, so let's try take 3. And then maybe what I'll do is I'll grab the back end of take 4 here. When I comp, I generally try to stay off of the transients. So I'm typically not, editing directly on a waveform, but rather I'm editing before the transients or after the tail of a waveform or after the tail of a note. Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this ship around and tell me. And then when I move on to the next section, I just move the cycle range over. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. And while you're choosing your next take, you can just click, and this will jump up and down to the next take. So let's go back up to take 4 here. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't. So I like take 2, I think, in the beginning of it, but toward the latter part of that phrase, I kind of like take 4 a little better. So let's try to swipe in that section right there.
Don't turn this ship around it.
And maybe let's use just a little bit of the front end of take 4.
Don't turn this ship around it. Don't turn this ship around it. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't.
Yeah, you know what? I think I'm liking take 4 a little bit more now. This spot right here seems a little rushed, or like, I don't know, there's something about it I don't like. If anything, it's behind take 4, but ahead of take 3. Let's maybe try using a little bit of take 4 here and see what it sounds like.
Skip around and tell me that you can't.
You know what? Let's try a little bit of this take here.
Skip around and tell me that you can't give one more day.
Yeah, I think that works a lot smoother. Let's try out that whole phrase.
Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't ever tell me why. 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 Don't ever tell me why.
I definitely like this part of this section here, but I'm not so sure about the don't. Let's listen to each one of those.
Don't ever tell me why. Don't ever tell me why. Don't ever tell. Don't ever tell me why.
All right, let's move on to the next phrase.
Don't you ever tell me why. 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 Don't you ever tell me why.
I think I'll try something like that. This guy's a pretty consistent singer. Sometimes you'll get vocalists that are kind of all over the place in their timing and their pitch and their delivery. I think you're going to find with this guy, most of the takes are pretty similar, so it's really difficult to choose which one is the best take. So I'm just listening for the timing, the tuning, the inflection, the confidence in the vocal performance. So there's a lot of determining factors as to which one sounds the best, and part of it is just subjective as well.
'Cause I don't wanna know. 'Cause I don't wanna know. 'Cause I don't want to know. 'Cause I don't want.
I kind of like this part up here, but I like how he says want to know. He pronounces the T's instead of just saying wanna know.
I don't want to know. 'Cause I don't want to know.
Although there is something about the timing of that phrase I'm not so sure about.
I don't want to know.
I think it's a little bit ahead. I think this note is supposed to be pushed back a little bit. So this is where that secondary mode I was talking about, that edit mode, comes into play. So I'll click on this and it'll show scissors. And then I'm going to use my marquee tool to essentially cut out this part of the phrase just to separate it. And then let's move this over a little bit just to fix its timing a touch. And let's see if that sounds better.
'Cause I don't want to know.
Yeah, there we go. And then you can just click again to put this back in quick swipe comping mode.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want to. I don't want to. I don't want to.
Yeah, and I think I like this part up here. So we're just going to be connecting this phrase to this phrase down here.
I don't want to know.
Okay, so we've got our whole first verse comped. Let's give that a listen.
Now that you're sober, don't tell me that it's over. Don't turn this ship around and tell me that you can't give one more day. Don't ever tell me why. Don't you ever tell me why. 'Cause I don't want to know.
Okay, so let's move on to the chorus.
I carried your heart when you needed me. I carried your heart when you needed me. I carried I carried your heart when you needed me. That's just how.
I think I like this middle section on this take. Let's try a different sort of front end here.
I carried your heart. I carried your heart when you. I carried your heart. I carried your heart. I carried your heart when you needed me.
Yeah, I think I like that one the best.
Needed me.
Let's figure out what me we want to use here.
Needed me. Needed me. Needed me. Needed me.
I like this top one the best.
Needed me. That's just how. That's just how. That's just how. That's just how love was meant to be.
Let's try out here.
Love was meant to be. Love was meant to be. Love was meant to be.
And let's try that.
Love was meant to be. I keep on. Love was meant to. Love was meant to.
I think I might be able to nudge this over a little bit, and that'll make that line up a little bit better. So once again, I switch over to editing mode, nudge that over just a touch, go back to quick swipe comping, make sure that the comping points sort of line up.
Love was meant to be.
And I think this can be moved over as well. So let's do the same thing. Separate it, move it over a touch. There we go. Put it back in quick swipe comping, and then make sure that the joining points all make sense.
That's just how love was meant to be. I keep on tearing through your tragedy. That's just how.
Let's jump over to this next phrase here.
I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame. I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame.
Yeah, I like the top one best so far.
I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame. I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame.
So I like the end of this one, but I like the front end of this one. So let's use the first part of this, and then maybe the back end of this one.
I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame. I keep on tearing through your tragedies. I took the brunt of your shame. And all your misery. And all your misery.
Not a big fan of the rhythm on that one.
And all your misery. And all your misery. And all your misery.
Yeah, I like that top one the most. It's like the most soulful sounding.
It's just a goddamn shame that you cannot see. It's just a goddamn shame.
And then when you select new takes, just don't do what I did there. Make sure you make a selection, and then that allows you to just choose what take you want just for that specific selection.
It's just a goddamn shame. It's just a goddamn shame. It's just a goddamn shame. It's just a goddamn shame that you. It's just a goddamn shame. It's just a goddamn shame that you can't.
Let's try maybe a little bit of that first, or that second take rather.
It's just a goddamn shame. It's just a goddamn shame that you. It's just a goddamn shame that you cannot see. 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 That you cannot see.
Yeah, I think the top one has a little more energy to it.
That you cannot see.
But I like the sort of the tone and the delivery of this one.
That you cannot see.
Let's move on to the next phrase.
All that is good for you is just as good for me. All that is good for you is just as good for me. All that is good for you. All that is good for. All that is good for. All that is good for you. All that is good for you is. All that is good for you is just as good for me.
Yeah, I think I like this part and then maybe this part here. Maybe all the way out to there.
All that is good for you is just as good for me. All that is good for you is just as good.
We might even be able to nudge one of these sections over a little bit. Yeah, I mean, maybe we could nudge this to the right a little bit. Let's go ahead and do that. Just separate here, push it over just a touch, not a lot. And then we'll go back to quick swipe comping. We've got a little bit of some weirdness going on here because we've got a comp and we actually split the waveform. That's not going to be a big deal at the end of the day. What I'll do is I'll just take like some of the background noise from here and do that.
All that is good for you is just as good for me. All that is good for you is just as good for me.
Yeah, and I think this phrase is a little ahead as well. So let's separate that out.
Just as good for me.
I think that's supposed to be like there. Let's try that.
As good for me. Good for me.
Yeah, let's clean up the rest of our comp edits, and then we'll continue on through the rest of the chorus.
Good for me. I gave you everything and you left me in the cold.
So this chorus comes back in for a second chorus here. It's exactly the same, and in the second repetition here, this goes into this bridge breakdown section.
In the cold.
So I may borrow that last line from over here from the second chorus when we get to the second chorus, but at least for now, in the first chorus, I think we can maybe choose one of these other two that are a little more have a little more intensity to them.
Left me in the cold. Me in the cold. Me in the cold.
Yeah, I think we'll use this part, and then for the rest of it,
I gave you everything and you left me in the cold. I gave you everything and you left me in the cold.
I think what I'm going to do here, though, is we're going to have to go back to editing mode. We're going to have to trim some of these things a little bit here, just like so. Go back to quick swipe comping. There we go. And let's try that out.
Hey, I gave you everything and you left me in the cold.
And I think this is a little ahead, so we may need to cut that out. We can just cut it right here, pull that over just a touch, put it back in quick swipe mode. Let's give that a shot.
And you left me in the cold.
Yeah, we may have to do some manual editing here. I think maybe this word is a little behind, but then this last word is a little ahead.
Left me in the cold.
Actually, I really like that. So let's cut this out. Let's move that over even more, just like that. Almost like a natural rubato too, just kind of being a little bit behind where it needs to be for dramatic effect.
I gave you everything and you left me in the cold.
Okay, so I've comped the first verse and first chorus. What I'll do at this point is I will comp the rest of these vocals off screen, and I'll be right back. Okay, so now once you've got the vocals comped, what I recommend doing is I recommend turning on your track alternatives so you can store a version of these just as they are so you can come back to them later. So what I recommend doing is just selecting that track, go up to track, and then go to show track alternatives. You'll see this extra little option next to the track name. Click on that and select duplicate. So what that's going to do is it's going to create a duplicate track alternative. So A is this, and then B is this. So we can think of A as like our backup, so we can come back to these take folders if we ever need them again. And then what I can do is I can go over to B, and on B, I can click right here, and I can select flatten. What that's going to do is it's going to flatten down the take folder into a series of edited regions. You can also do flatten and merge, and that will also sort of render everything or bounce everything in place. So I'm actually going to go ahead and use that feature. Okay, so let's copy our chorus from here over to the second chorus and the third chorus. I'm just going to use this as a placeholder for now because we're actually going to do some tuning on the vocals, and we'll want to copy over the tuned vocals, not the untuned vocals. So you can skip this step right now if you want, but I'm going to go ahead and copy this over just again as a placeholder. So I'm going to snap to bar. I'm going to use the no overlap function, paste that in with no overlaps, and then just try to find a nice edit point for that final vocal to come in there.
And you left me in the cold.
We'll make that work a little bit better in just a moment, and I'll go ahead and copy the third chorus over here as well.
I carried your heart when you needed me. That's just how our love was meant to be.
Okay, so we've got the two placeholder choruses there. Lastly, we just need to comp these screamed vocals. So let's give these a listen one by one.
Through blinded eyes, can you finally see? Through blinded eyes, can you finally see? Through blinded eyes, can you finally see? The hell you put me through? Through blinded eyes, can you see?
Okay, so that top one was a mistake. I think this is probably the best one.
Through blinded eyes, can you finally see? Through blinded eyes, can you? Through blinded eyes, can.
Let's line this up a little better, just like that. There we go. And then I'm going to select everything from here because I like the beginning of this a little bit better.
Through blinded eyes, can you finally see? The hell you put me through?
Let's see if we can find a better spot for the second half of this.
The hell you put me through? 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 The hell you put me through?
Yeah, let's just use that one.
The hell you put me through?
I think that works. And let's go to this very last scream section here.
We fight this undying war. 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 We fight this undying war.
Yeah, we may need to shift some of these around. He's rushing a little bit. The rhythm's supposed to lock in with that that guitar riff.
We fight this undying war.
Really, all of them, I think, can be nudged over a little bit. I think they're all ahead.
We fight this undying war.
There we go. I really like the front end of this.
We fight this undying war!
When we get to the in undying, though, I don't quite like it.
We fight this undying war! We fight this fight! We fight this undying! We fight this undying!
That might work.
We fight this undying war!
Okay. Let's try maybe this one.
We fight this undying war!
Nope. That was a mistake.
We fight this undying war! We fight this undying war! We fight this undying war!
Yeah, you know what? I kind of like that one, and then I like this one.
We fight this undying war!
Although we may need to cut that out, scoot that over a little bit, go back to quick swipe comping mode. Let's give that a whirl.
We fight this undying war! We fight this undying war! We fight this undying war!
And I may even nudge that over a little bit as well.
We fight this undying war! We fight this undying war!
So let's hear that whole section with both the screamed and clean vocals.
Through blinded eyes, can you finally see the hell you put me through? I can reach your heart when you need me. We fight this undying war. I can reach your heart when you need me.
Okay, so just like I did before, I'm going to duplicate the track alternative here. So now I have two different track alternatives. A will be our backup with the take folder. B, we're going to take this and flatten and merge. And then I'm just going to take a moment and do a little bit of a quick heads and tails editing on this. We will get another chance to sort of clean up the timing and the tuning, but we'll get to that in the next video. Okay, so I've got all of my lead vocals comped. In the next video, we'll go through and we will clean up the timing and the tuning of these vocals. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. As always, thank you so much for the support, and thanks for watching.